So then, so SQL server, like here, database creation is very simple in SQL server. Like how to connect, just give the server type as database engine. Server name means computer name. Authentication is SQL server authentication. Login is SA. Password is 123. Okay, then click what? Connect. Click connect. After you click connect, you are connected to SQL server. Then after you connect to SQL server, in this you can see some folders. One is databases, one is security, server objects, like that. If you expand databases, in this there is a database DB 6 p.m, DB 7 a.m, something like this. There are two databases. My server contains two databases. One database name is DB 6 p.m, one database name is DB 7 a.m. So these two databases are created by user. These two databases are created by user. And how to create new database? It's very simple. Databases, right click, select new database. Databases, right click, select new database. Then right click, new database. When you select new database, here enter database name. What the database name is, like DB10. Yes, I'm giving some database name DB10. Next, click OK. That's all. What we have to enter, database name DB10, click OK. When you click OK, a new database is created with name DB10. But database creation is simple. What is important is, okay, now what is important is, when you create the database is created with two files. One file is called data file, one file is called log file. Data file stores data, log file stores operations. Whatever commands you execute on database, all that commands are recorded in log file, whereas data file stores data. And what the size of the data file is? 8 MB. Initial size is 8 MB. And log file size is also 8 MB. And if 8 MB is full, the size is automatically increased by 64 MB. If 8 MB is full, the size is automatically increased by 64 MB. Here also 8 MB is full, the size is automatically increased by 64 MB. What is the path? This is the default path. By default, where this data file is created. By default, data file is created in this path. So by default, database is created in this path. Okay, now that like this. So C drive, what are the program files? In this one subdirectory, Microsoft SQL server. In that another subdirectory, another subdirectory, another subdirectory. In this two files are created. In this folder, data folder, two files are created in data folder. One file name is in this folder, two files are created. Creating the database means nothing but creating two files. Two files are created. One file name is data file, another file is log file. What is the data file name? Data file name is db10.mdf. What is the data file name? db10.mdf. What is the log file name? db10_log.lef. db10.mdf. db10_log.lef. MDF stands for master data file. So I already given in that notes. MDF stands for master data file. LEF stands for log data file. Okay, na? The two files are created in this file. Okay, na? Then, so what is the path? The two files path is this. Okay, see, like already given in this notes also I mentioned here. Okay, na? Then, so this is the path. In this path, two files are created. So now these two files are important. Okay, na? Then if these two files are gone, database is also gone. Database means nothing but these two files only. You want to copy this database to pen drive. To copy the database to pen drive, copy these two files to pen drive. If you copy these two files to pen drive, database is copied to pen drive. Database means nothing but these two files only. Okay, na? Then, so like if you want, you can check. If you want, you can check. Go to what, where it is created? C drive. Open C drive. What that is? Program files. Program files. In program files, what's it? Microsoft SQL Server. Microsoft SQL Server. MS SQL 15.MS SQL Server. Next in that MS SQL. In that data folder is data. So in the data folder, so the two files are created. One file is db, what's that? 1 second. Let me complete this. Then, okay, say okay. Say okay. Okay, na? Now, let's see db10. This is db10. db10 is data file. db10 underscore log is log file. Understood, na? Then, log file. That's all. Understood? Then, okay. Now, next, so what is ready? So, like 1 second, user like uses SSMS. 1 second, SQL server. Using SQL server, you created one database DB6PM in last class. In last class, yes or no? Today's class you created DB10, but in last class you created DB6PM. So user using SSMS like connected to SQL server and created what's that? DB6PM. Okay, then. So after you connected to SQL server, you connected to SQL server. Okay, next. Now, so after you connected to SQL server, actually, why user is connected to SQL server? Why user is connected to SQL server? Like user, what the user is? User wants to work with what? DB6PM. If he wants to work with DB6PM, he wants to work with the database. To work with the database, who is managing this database? This database is managed by SQL server. If user wants to perform anything on DB6PM, user has to talk to SQL server. Okay, na? If user wants to perform any operations on database, the user has to communicate with SQL server. User has to talk to SQL server because this database is managed by SQL server. So if you want to do anything on database, you need to talk to what's it? SQL server. You need to talk to SQL server. Okay, na? Then now. So 1 second, just a minute. Then, so like, but is simply, if you want to talk to SQL server, like ATMs also, ATMs, you go to ATM, you insert card, enter PIN number. Next, you are connected to what? You are connected to server, bank server. After you connect to bank server, then immediately it will ask which language you want to use for communication. You select Telugu, Hindi, English. based on your convenience. Similarly, here also, next user is connected. After that, he wants to talk to SQL server. Okay, na? Why he wants to talk to SQL server? Because he wants to work with what's it? Database. To work with database, he needs to talk to the SQL server. To talk to SQL server, what he must know? He must know a language. How to communicate? For communication, what is required? For communication, what is required? Language is required. Okay. For communication, what is required is language is required. Okay, na? So like here also language is required, but SQL server, it cannot understand what's her Telugu, Hindi, English. It understands only one language. What that language is? SQL. Okay. Then so what the next one is? This is the database creation. What the next one is? SQL language. What is SQL stands for? SQL stands for Structured Query Language. Okay, na? SQL stands for Structured Query Language. Okay, then SQL stands for Structured Query Language. Then what is this is? A language used to communicate with what's it? SQL server. So for any communication, language is required. I'm using English language to communicate with students. Similarly, user uses SQL language to communicate with SQL server. But in SQL, how you communicate with SQL server? Okay, na? How you communicate with SQL server? Like for example, you see that here in English, I'm using English language, but in English, how I am communicating? By delivering statements. Yes or no? Sentences. In SQL, how user communicate with SQL server means by using commands. That commands are called queries. Okay, na? So how user communicates? By sending commands. That commands are called queries. Okay. Next, user communicates with SQL server by sending commands called queries. No. User communicates with SQL server by sending commands called queries. Okay, then what is query means? What is query means? A query is a what? A query is a command or what? Instruction submitted to. A query is a command or instruction submitted to SQL server to perform some operation over database. A query is a command or instruction submitted to SQL server to perform some operation over database. Okay, then in bank also you submit instructions, commands, money withdrawal, money deposit, money transfer. You submit that instructions to bank server. In SQL also you submit commands to SQL server. That commands are called query. Hello. Yeah. So yes, it's introduced by IBM. Initial name was SQL. SQL. SQL means structured English query language. What this is? Structured English query language. And did he change it to SQL? Did he change it to SQL? Okay, now then they changed this name to SQL. Sir, okay? Then actually there is a why they changed it, because there is a legal problem. This is the brand name of some company. Okay, na? This is the brand name of some company. So they got a legal problem. So that's why they changed the name to what? SQL. Actually, Java initial name was Oak. Initial name Java. But this is the brand name of some company. So that's why they changed the name to what? Java. Okay, na? So then initially it is SQL. Later it is changed to SQL. Then so SQL is used for SQL. SQL is used for database operations. Okay, na? SQL is used for database what, sir? Operations. Like what? You use SQL for database operations. Like what, sir? Creating tables, storing what? Data. Next, updating data. Next one, deleting data. Next one, what, sir? What? Displaying data. So SQL is used for database operations. What operations? We can use SQL for creating the tables. Using SQL, you can store data, update the data, delete the data, display the data. Okay, then next. And SQL is divided into, tell me, SQL is programming language. Huh? SQL is a programming language? No, SQL is not a programming language. Then what is SQL is? query language. SQL is not programming language. SQL is a query language. Query means commands. Okay, na? That means it's not program oriented, it's command oriented. Okay, na? It's not program oriented, it's command oriented. You write commands here. Then, and that commands are divided into, okay, the commands are divided into 5 types. The commands are divided into 5 types. They are called, so divided into 5 sublanguages. SQL is divided into 5 sublanguages based on what's that? Operations. Based on operations over database. Based on operations over database, SQL is divided into 5 sublanguages. Okay, then like, okay, what are those sublanguages? Okay, na? So DDL, DML, DRL, TCL, DCL. SQL is divided into 5 sublanguages: DDL, DML, DRL, TCL, DCL. Okay, then. What is DDL stands for? DDL stands for Data Definition Language. DDL stands for Data Definition Language. DML stands for Data Manipulation Language. DRL stands for Data Retrieval Language. TCL stands for Transaction Control Language. DCL stands for Data Control Language. Okay, na? Then. So SQL is divided into 5 sublanguages based on your operations: data definition, data manipulation, data retrieval, transaction control, data control. Okay, then. Sir, okay, na? Then. Now, let's see. Now, let's see this. And here, see this once again. What I said, SQL is, okay, na? It's not programming language, it's a command language. The commands are divided into 5 based on your operations. Based on your operations. So commands are divided into 5. TCL, DCL. What are the commands comes under DDL? What commands comes under DDL? What are the commands comes under DDL? One is create, alter, drop, truncate. Then create, alter, drop, truncate. Okay, create, alter, drop, truncate. So these 4 commands comes under DDL. These 4 commands comes under DDL. Next one, DML, insert, update, delete, merge. Okay, na? This commands comes under DML. This commands comes under DML. Okay, next one. So create, alter, drop, truncate comes under DDL. Insert, update, delete, merge commands comes under DML. select command comes under DRL. Select comes under DRL. And commit rollback, save transaction comes under TCL. Commit rollback save transaction comes under TCL. Next one. So grant revoke comes under DCL. Grant comes under DCL. Okay, then so these are all what the sublanguages of SQL, and the commands comes under each sublanguage. So if anyone asks you how many SQL commands are there, then okay na? How many SQL commands are there? 14. How many SQL commands are there? 14 commands. If anyone asks you, tell me SQL commands means, give this list. If anyone asks you, tell me SQL commands means, give this list. Okay na? So is one database to another database. If these commands are same, commands are changes, commands are what, sir? Same. Maybe some extra commands will be there. Some commands will not be there. Some extra commands will be there. But almost all what? Same. Sir, okay na? Understood? If we go to Oracle, in Oracle also what? The same commands will be there, but maybe some extra commands will be there in Oracle. Okay. If you go to MySQL, the same commands will be there in MySQL also. Sir, okay na? Then. So, like actually, sir, suppose here some students, sir, there is a, in DDL commands, there is a rename command. There is a rename command, but you are not given that rename command. In DDL commands list, there is a rename command, but you are not given the rename command. So students will ask like that, because they got some knowledge in their like engineering course. In the engineering course, so they cover what like this. So in DDL command, they give one more command, rename. See here once again. So suppose here in interviews, if they ask any SQL questions, then first of all, you should be clear with that is Oracle SQL, SQL Server SQL. Understood na? What that is? Oracle SQL or SQL Server SQL. Oracle contains SQL. In SQL Server also SQL language. Almost all same, but changes will be there. Minor differences will be there. So if you go to Oracle in DDL, one more command is there. What that is? Rename is there. But here rename, we don't use SQL command. We use a separate stored procedure called sp_rename in SQL Server. We don't use that SQL command. We use a separate stored procedure. SP means stored procedure. We use a stored procedure called sp_rename for that rename purpose. Okay na? Then understood na? So differences will be there. The differences will be so like minor changes will be there. Okay, then understood? Now, so like one thing, and before going to this, okay, so one must know what is data definition, what is data. What is data definition? What is data? What is data? What is data definition? Like that. See, for example, like I'll say, okay, one, suppose A, then 5,000. I'll ask what this is. I'll ask what this is. This is what? Data. This is data. This is data. I'll ask what is 1. What is one? ID. What is A? Name. What is 5,000? Salary. But why not? One can be product ID, A can be product name, 5,000 can be product cost. Yes or no? One can be student ID, A can be student name, 5,000 can be fee paid by the student. Yes or no? So the data in this form is what, sir? The data in this form is what? Meaningless. The data in this form is what, sir? Meaningless. Suppose in SQL server, you want to store Paris. I want to store Paris in SQL server. SQL server will not accept. It will not accept this Paris. You have to say Paris is a city, then SQL server will accept. If you simply store Paris, it will not accept. You have to say Paris is a city, then SQL server accept. What is Paris is data. What is city is data. What's that? Definition. So city is defining what is Paris. City is defining what is Paris. If I ask what is Paris means, so easily you can answer. Paris is what, sir? City. Because this is well-known city. Anyone knows. Even if this is not there, even if I don't define also, you can, if I ask what is Paris means, you can say it is a city. Yes or no? But I'll ask, there is a called Chengdu. I'll ask, what is Chengdu? You can't answer because it is also a city, but you don't know. Yes or no? Okay. Na? Suppose if I say like city, then if I store like this, then so whether you know Chengdu or not, if I ask what is Chengdu means, easily you'll answer. Chengdu is a city because it is defined. Yes or no? Okay. Na? So the data in this form is meaningless because it's not defined. So SQL server allows only meaningful data. It will not allow meaningless data. SQL server allows only meaningful data. It will not allow meaningless data. So every data must be defined. Without definition, it will not allow. Then it should be defined. How you define? EMPID, e-name, salary. Now, if I ask what is one means, then you don't say one is a student ID, one is a product ID like that. You say one is a employee ID. A is a employee name. 5,000 is salary, employee salary. What this is called? This is called data definition. This is called data definition. Okay, na? Then, so what is data? What is data definition? Okay, na? So like 1 second. Then, so 1 second. Sir, DDL commands acts on data definition. Listen, DDL commands acts on data definition, and DML commands acts on data. There are two basic commands, DDL and DML. DDL acts on data definition and DML acts on data. Acts on data. One acts on definition, another one acts on data. Sir, got it? Then, so like I want to see what I said. Without definition, you cannot store the data. So before storing the data, what is required? Before storing the data, what is required? Definition is required. First, you have to create the definition. How to create the definition? By using create. So create is for to create definition. Next one, you want to change this definition, then alter. You want to remove the definition, drop. You want to create the definition, create command. You want to remove the definition, drop command. You want to modify the definition, alter command. Okay, na? Then we'll see what is truncate. So truncate is used to remove and recreate. This is not the right time. Okay, now we'll see everything. Okay, then understood. Then so next, so to create the structure, create command. To modify the structure, alter. To remove the structure, drop. Okay, next one. Okay, structure is ready. Structure is ready. So when structure is ready, SQL Server allows the data or not? Yes. I want to insert some new data. I want to insert some new employee data. If you want to insert new employee data, then insert. Data means DML. Definition means DDL. Okay, na? You want to insert some new data, insert command. You want to change the data 5,000 to 8,000. Then what is the command? Update command. This employee is resigned. I want to remove this data. Then delete. Okay, then understood. So I want to insert some new employee data. Then insert command. You want to modify the salary. Update command. So this employee resigned. You want to remove this data. Then delete. In banks, you open account. When open account, your details are inserted. Your details are inserted. You do deposits and withdrawal. Then your balance is updated. You close account. Your details are deleted. When you open account, your details are inserted. When you deposits and withdrawal, your balance is updated. You close account, your details are deleted. So merge is also combination of insert and update. I want to do insert and update at a time. I want to do insert and update at a time. Then we can use what, sir? Merge. Merge is the combination of insert and update. Okay. I want to see the data. I want to see the data. Then select. Select is for to see. If you want to see the data, select command. Okay. Then understood? No. So actually, and in the beginning, okay, in the beginning, see what we discussed is there is a call, what, sir? Server. There is a call server. Inside the server, what is installed? SQL Server software is installed. And here using the software, we created what, sir? Database. So in our class, we created a database DB, what, sir? 6 p.m. Yes. Okay, na? Then, but this is database is memory, yes or no? But it's a permanent memory. It's a permanent or temporary? Permanent storage. So database is permanent storage. But in this server, one more memory is there. In the server, one more memory is there. What that memory is called? That memory is called what, sir? Instance. That memory is called instance memory. Okay, na? Where database memory is created? Database is created in hard disk. Database memory is allocated in hard disk. Instance memory is created in RAM. Sir, listen. What? Database memory is created in hard disk. Instance memory is created in RAM. That means database is permanent storage. Instance is temporary storage. Instance is temporary storage. Okay, na? Next. So, and these two memories are controlled by SQL Server. SQL Server will control these two memories. Both memories are controlled by SQL Server. Now, suppose you insert some data. You insert the data. When you insert the data will not directly go to what, sir? Database. The data will not directly go to database. Initially, where the data is stored. So initially data stored in what, sir? Instance. Initially, SQL Server will keep the data in what? Instance. It will not directly store this data in database. Initially, the data stored in instance. That means temporary memory. That means your data is also temporary or not? Yes. Simple, boss. Like 1 second. This is Notepad. In Notepad, I typed some text. Now at present, where this text is saved? This is Notepad. You written some text. Where this text is saved? This text is saved in instance database. The terminology use it in SQL Server only. Okay, na? I'm talking about Notepad. Where this text is saved? This text is saved in RAM. At present, this text is saved in RAM. Is it permanent? No, it's not permanent. Then what you do? you want to make it permanent. Tomorrow you want to work with this document. Then what you do? Go to file, select what, sir? Save, enter the file name. So this text is saved in that file or not? Yes. Once this text is saved in that file, then this data is permanent or not? Yes. So same thing in SQL Server also. Initially, whatever the data you store, where the data is stored, the data stored in RAM. It's not permanent. So I want to make it what's permanent. I want to make it permanent. So then to save, to make it permanent, in Notepad we go to file, select, save option. But SQL is what? Commands. In SQL, everything you enter what's commands. What is the command to save this? Then we use a command called what? Commit. Okay, na? Commit is for save. So once commit is executed, what happens? Tell me. Once commit is executed, what happens? This data is copied to database. Initially data stored in instance. Once you execute commit, this data is copied to database. Once data is copied to database, your data is permanent or not? Yes. Okay, na? Then so commit will save. Commit is like save. Okay. Next one. Suppose here I inserted the data. I inserted the data. Initially, where it is there? It is there in instance. Okay, na? But by mistake, I inserted. I want to cancel that. Or you deleted. Where it is deleted from? You deleted the data. Where it is deleted from? It is deleted from instance. You updated. Where it is updated? Instance. So every operation is performed on instance. When you save, commit, then it is copied to database. Okay. So you deleted. Where it is deleted? It is deleted from instance. Okay. But by mistake you deleted. By mistake you deleted. Accidentally you deleted. You want to cancel that operation. To cancel that operation, what we use? We use what? Rollback. So commit is for saving. Rollback is for cancel. Cancel the changes. Okay, na? You know Control S, Control Z. You know Control S, Control Z. Control S is for saving. Control Z is for undo. See that? Edit, undo, undo, Control Z. So what happens if you say undo? Whatever the changes you made, the changes are what, sir? Cancel. Yes or no? Okay, na? Then. So if you want to cancel the changes, okay, you want to cancel the changes in database, what command we use? Rollback. You want to save the changes? Commit. Commit is like Control S, rollback is like Control Z. Commit is like Control S, rollback is like Control Z. Okay, na? Next one. Next. Save transaction is also similar to what, sir? Rollback. But we'll see the difference. What is the rollback? What is the difference between? Small difference is there between rollback and save transaction. We'll see that. After going to the commands, you'll understand. Okay, na? Then. Understood? Now. Next. So SQL Server is a secure database. SQL Server is what, sir? Secure. Okay. Only authorized users can access database, but not unauthorized users. Only what? Authorized users can access what? Database. I created database. Can you access my database? Huh? I created one database. Can you access my database? No. So you cannot access my database. I cannot access your database. Okay. Then, so suppose here, like you want to work with my database, because in real-time projects, database is shared by multiple developers. Multiple developers work with the same database or not? Yes. So like actually in real time, who will be the like owner of the databases? Database is created by DBAs. Who is the owner of the database? DBA. What is DBA means? Database administrator. Okay, na? DBA. DBA stands for database administrator. So in real time, who will be the owner of the database is database admin. He create the database. Okay, na? Then next, I joined as a developer. If I join as a developer, then I want to work with the database. One task is given to me. For the task, I need the database. Then what DBA will do? DBA give the permissions on database to the developer. DBA gives permissions on database to developers. How to give the permissions? By using grant command. Okay, na? So database is created by DBA. I have joined as a developer. I want to work with the database. Actually, I don't have permissions to work with the database. Then what DBA will do? DBA will give the permissions. How to give the permissions? By using grant command. Grant is for giving the permissions. Okay. So my work is completed. My work is completed. Work with the database is completed. Once work is completed, take back the permissions. How to take back the permissions? By using revoke. Grant is for giving the permission and revoke is for take back the permission. Take back. Giving, take back. Give the permissions. Grant. So revoke is for to take back the permissions. Okay, na? I just explained what is what, but every command will see practical. Just theoretically explain, but practically we'll see. I'll give every command definition, example, syntax. Okay. Then. Understood, na? Okay. So, like, now tell me what is this is user. What's that? User uses SSMS, uses SQL language, SQL server. Next one, database. What is DB? Database. What is this database is? Storage. What do you have to say? Storage. Database is a storage, storing the data. What is SQL server? Software. Software used to manage database. Okay, na? Then, sir, different users will send commands to SQL server, na? Then what SQL server has to do? So SQL server will receive the commands and execute that commands on database. Yes or no? So that means this database is managed by SQL server. Software used to manage database. Next one. What is SQL? Language. SQL is a language to communicate with SQL server. Okay. Then. So SQL is a language. What is SSMS? SSMS is a tool. Using this tool, you connect it to SQL server, submit the commands, and that commands belongs to which language? SQL language. Using this tool, you connect to SQL server. After connecting to SQL server, you submit the commands. That commands belongs to which language means SQL language. Okay. Okay. Now, sir, any database, this is same. Like what changes? Like you go to Oracle, user uses what? SQL plus. Language is SQL. Database is Oracle database. Huh? So what is the difference here? They use what software? Oracle software. We use what? SQL server software. They use Oracle software. But what is common? Language is common. Okay, na? Maybe this tool is also different. We use a tool called SSMS tool. They use SQL plus tool. Next one. You go to like what? One is there. MySQL workbench. Then what is the language? SQL language. What is the database? MySQL like database. So one to another, what is the difference is? So difference is what, sir? Maybe this tool differs. Okay, then. So one uses SQL server, we use SSMS. Oracle uses SQL plus, and this is what? MySQL. So you open SSMS, and what you type? You open SSMS, you type what? Database engine, server name, authentication, login, password, yes or no? Like you open what's that? You want to connect it to Oracle. Open what? Open SQL plus. So open SQL plus to connect it to Oracle. Open SQL plus. Enter the username and password. So in my system, username is what, sir? System. Then like in SQL server, SA means in SQL server, we use system SA. SA stands for system admin. SA stands for system admin. In Oracle, what is the login? System. Login is what? System. Next one, password. Password is anything, like it is set at the time of installation. So I set the password as manager. Connected. Okay, na? Connected. Connected. What the difference is? See, this working environment is different, but thing is, language is what's that? Same. Huh? Then, so what is this is tool? SQL plus tool. I open SQL plus tool. Using this SQL plus tool, I connected to Oracle. So see that here you got a message connected to what's that? Oracle database 19C enterprise edition, etc. Okay, na? Then like even you go to what's that? MySQL also. Then open MySQL workbench. Then it will ask username and password. Common, sir, everything. Okay, na? Then so that's all. Okay, then next. So actually here in SQL server, not only SQL server, any database, then there will be what? Server. Inside the server, what you create? Database. Inside the database, what we create? What? Tables. Inside the table, what we store? Data. This is the hierarchy. So there will be a server. Inside the server, you create database. Inside the database, create tables, store the data. Okay, na? So when you get the server, how to get the server? Nothing. Take system, inside the system, install SQL server. After installing SQL server, the system becomes server. And inside the server, create database. That also you know. That also you know how to create what's a database. You know this part. What you don't know? Tables and storing the data. Okay. Now we'll see. So inside the database, how to create tables, how to store the data. Then. But before going to this, before going to create the tables, okay, tell me where we execute these commands. Commands are SQL commands. I'm asking where we execute the commands. I given some commands now, 14 commands. I'm asking where we execute these commands. Here it is there, boss. Where we execute the commands. We don't execute commands in SQL server. We execute commands in SSMS. Open SSMS, type the commands. Yes or no? So this is SSMS, boss. Then this is SSMS now. Now you want to execute the commands. To execute the commands, but on which database you want to execute the commands? There are hundreds of databases are there. In hundreds of databases, on which database you want to execute the command? I want to execute the commands on DB6PM. My database is DB6PM. So I want to execute the commands on DB6PM. Then what you have to do? Open the database. Okay, na? Open the database. How to open the database? So DB6PM, right click, what's that? New query. DB6PM, right click, new query. When you select new query, then this query window opens. Okay. So select DB6PM, which database you want to open. So select the database, right click, say new query. A query window opens. In this query window, whatever the commands you want to execute, type that commands. Select command or what's her create command or what update command, whatever the commands you want to execute, type the command, then click this what's her execute button. So select, like ignore this. This time typing something. Select star from sysdot. Type the command, then click execute button. When you click execute button, the command is what, sir? Executed. You can see the output. Okay, na? Leave it. What is sysdot messages? What is this is? Leave it. Okay. Type the command, click execute button. When you click the execute button, the command is executed. You can see the output also. Okay. Then next. So like what we'll see creating, but before we go to this creating the tables, what we must know about data types in SQL Server. Sir, okay now? And data types in SQL Server. Let's see now. So what is this data types is? Okay, what is data type? You know, like INTA. You know INTA. You know, you don't know. What is INT? What is A? A is a variable. What is INT is? Data type. I is a, sorry, A is a variable. INT is what, sir? Data type. Data type. Okay, na? Then, so in programming languages, they use what, sir? Variables. What for they use variables? They use variables for storing the data. They use variables for storing the data. Okay, na? For storing the data, what is required is memory is required. Without memory, how it can store the data? Okay, na? For storing the data, so what is required is memory is required. I want to store some data. I'm taking a variable A. But so how much memory should be allocated for this A? How system knows? It should allocate 2 bytes, 4 bytes, 10 bytes, 20 bytes, 1 GB, 2 GB. How it knows? That's why you declare what's that? You declare what? INT. If you declare INT, then it allocates how much memory? 2 bytes. It allocates how much memory for this A? 2 bytes. Sir, okay, na? So in programming languages, we use variables for storing the data. For storing the data, memory is required, but how much memory should be allocated? It depends on the data type. Depends on data type. Now, let's see. But when it comes to SQL Server, where you store the data? In programming languages, I said variables. In variables, you store the data. But when it comes to SQL Server, in SQL Server, where we store the data? That's all here. After coming to the next class, okay, now don't forget the previous. SQL Server, where you store the data? Database. In database, how you store the data? In the form of tables. SQL Server is what? Basically RDBMS. SQL Server is a software. What type of software? RDBMS. In RDBMS, how data organized in the form of tables, rows and columns. So that means in SQL Server, we store the data in the form of tables. I want to store employees data. Okay, na? In database, I want to store what's sir? Employees data. Or you want to store customers data, customer ID, customer name, customer phone number. I want to store customer age. I want to store this ID, name, phone number, age, like that. So you want to store this, but for storing this customer data, memory is required or not? Yes. But how much memory should be allocated for this table? How it knows? Okay, na? So then, so here, what are this? This is the table. What are this? No. Customer ID, okay. But I'm asking what this is. This is table, na? This is table. In this table, what is this? Table means rows and columns. What are this? What is this? Customer ID, name, phone number? They are called columns. Customer ID 10, name is A, some phone number, what's her 1, 2, 3, age is 30. Then what is this is? Row. This is row. What is this? Customer ID, name, phone number, age? They are called columns. They are called columns or fields or attributes. Customer ID, name, phone number, age. They are called columns or fields or attributes. What are these? They are all rows. Rows. Okay. Then. So, but here, how much memory should be allocated for customer ID? How much memory should be allocated for name? How much memory should be allocated for age? How it knows? Yes or no? How SQL Server knows? Then here, every column should be declared with what, sir? Data type. Every column should be declared with data type. According to the data type, it allocates what, sir? Memory. You got my point? According to the data type, it allocates memory. So then, what is the importance of data type? Then a data type specifies one is type of the data allowed in a column. Next one, amount of memory allocated for column. What type of data is allowed in a column plus how much memory allocated for the column. So data type specifies type of the data, amount of memory allocated for the column. Okay, now then no. Okay. So in SQL Server, and the data types are categorized into this. What are the various data types? Okay, data types. The data types are like, first let me write it. Char. One is what, sir? Char. Again in char, there are two types. Listen first. ASCII and what? Unicode. We'll discuss everything. First I'm giving the list. One is what? Char. Another one? Varchar. Another one? Varchar max. Char, varchar, varchar max. Unicode. Unicode is nchar. Next. nvarchar. Next. nvarchar max. This is character types. What is the next one? What is the next one is integer types. We'll discuss what is character types, what is integer types, everything we'll discuss. Next one. What is the first one? Integer types, four integer types. One is tiny int, another one small int, another one int, another one big int. So first one tiny int, small int, big int. Next, let's see. What the next one is decimal. Sorry, 1 second. Float. Let's say float. Float we have decimal p comma s. Okay, na? Decimal p comma s. Next one. What the next one? Currency types. Currency types. So there are two currency types. One is small money, another one money type. There are two, small money, money type. Next one, date. Date. Date we have two types. One is date. One is date. Another one time. Another one what's that? Date time. What the next one is? Just one is left. What that is? Binary. One is what? Binary. Another one where binary. Another one where binary max. That's these are the different types. One second. Okay, and then leave it. So data types, then char, integer, float, currency, date, binary. Okay, na? No. So data will be what form? Like you written, na? Okay, then. Sir, data will be what form? Huh? Data will be what form? Sir, like once again, just assume you are opening account in bank. What they collect, whatever they collect, that should be stored in bank database. Yes or no? Everything is stored in bank database. Tell me what they collect. Your name. Name is what? Characters. Characters. They collect your name, address, phone number. Phone number is what type? Numeric type. Number. Okay. So they collect your name, address, phone number, your date of birth. Date of birth. Then date of birth is what type? Date of birth is what type? Date type. Date of birth is date type. Yes. Next, they collect your Aadhaar number. Aadhaar number is what? Numeric type. PAN number. PAN number is alphanumeric. PAN number is alphanumeric. PAN number contains alphabets plus and also numbers. So PAN number is alphanumeric. Next one, they collect your photograph. They collect your photograph and their signature. This is what collected from you. And all this should be stored in database. That means, so like bank wants to use SQL server. And SQL server has to support what? SQL server has to support, SQL server should support storing alphabets, storing numbers, storing alphanumeric, storing photographs and signature. Signature is what, sir? Image on. Signature is not text. Signature is what? Image. So that means SQL server should support all this. If SQL server supports all this, then they can use SQL server. So like if SQL server says I can't store images, then will bank use SQL server? No, they don't use. If SQL server doesn't store images, then how can they store the customer photographs? Yes or no? Okay, na? Then so what is this is for? This is for storing all these types. These types are for storing characters. This is for storing numbers, integers. So numbers again two types. This is 100, 100.50. What is 100 is called? 100 is called integer without decimal. Without decimal. This is called integer. And with the decimal it is called float. Without decimal it is called integer. With decimal it is called float. Next one, currency. Currency is also numbers. Currency is also numbers only. Currency type, small money, money. So this is used for money fields. We'll see one by one. Next one, you want to store date, customer date of birth. Then what's it? Date. I want to store like so login time. Then I want to store time. Then what? Time. Both date and time is important. Then date time. Only date is important. Then date. Only time is important. Time. Both date and time is important. Date. Understood? Next one. And what this is for? Binary. So this binary is for storing what, sir? This binary is for storing images. For storing images, how many data types are there? 3. One is binary, where binary, max. They are used for multimedia objects. Storing multimedia. Multimedia means audio, video, images. Audio, video, images. For storing audio, video, images, SQL server has given 3 types: binary, where binary, max. Okay, then we'll discuss. We'll see one by one. Just I given list, but we'll see one by one in the next class. Okay, now. అవుతుంది. కస్టమైజ్ చేస్తా, బేసిక్ చేయొద్దు, కస్టమ్ చేయి. క్లాస్ రూమ్, గూగుల్ క్లాస్ రూమ్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం. ఫ్రమ్ గూగుల్ క్లాస్ రూమ్ యూ కెన్ డౌన్లోడ్. ఓకేనా? 6 to 7:30. మార్నింగ్ అంతా మళ్ళీ సపరేట్గా అడగండి. యా, సో బ్యాచ్ టైమింగ్ 6 to 7:30. ఇప్పుడు ఫస్ట్ ఇవి కంప్లీట్ కానీ, ఓకేనా? ఒక 2-3 days మీరు అటెండ్ కానీ దీంట్లో క్లాస్ లింక్ చేంజ్ చేస్తారు. ఆ చేంజ్ అయిన తర్వాత ఇస్తాను మీకు. ఎందుకంటే రిజిస్ట్రేషన్స్ కంప్లీట్ అయిపోతే చేంజ్ చేస్తారు లింక్. ఓకేనా? సో ఆ న్యూ లింక్ ఇస్తాను. ఒక లింక్ ఇస్తారు డెమో కోసం, ఒక లింక్. వన్స్ రిజిస్ట్రేషన్స్ కంప్లీట్ అయితే దెన్ దే చేంజ్ ద లింక్. దట్ లింక్ ఐ విల్ గివ్ ఇట్. అటెండ్ కావచ్చు, అందరికి ఇస్తాను, మీకనే కాదు. అది రిజిస్ట్రేషన్స్ అన్ని కంప్లీట్ అవుతాయి, చేస్తారు ఈ 1 or 2 daysలో అయిపోతుంది. ఓకే. So demo video links you can contact Naresh IT because they maintain the videos. You have to contact them. Sir, I'm not talking to you, Ravi Kumar. I'm not talking. I'm talking to some other person. Okay, na? Not to you. Notes will be added to Google Classroom. You can download it from there. They will create the Google Classroom in 1 or 2 days. So demo class links will be provided till today. Okay, na? They provide. Yeah, but you have to contact them. You have to contact Naresh IT. Then, sir, for SQL server, you follow this. You follow this for SQL server. Okay, na? Then this is the SQL server. So after completing this course, do we get any jobs? Means yes, there are some companies will take only SQL server developers, but you have some added technologies, then definitely added advantage. Okay, na? If you have some other technologies, then definitely added advantage. So like MSBI, Power BI, .NET. If you have the technologies, definitely added advantage. You will get the jobs, and within, like, it will not take much time. So syllabus copy also I'll add it to the Google Classroom, because here sharing is not possible. I can't share anything. If you want to share, what is available is Google Classroom, but Google Classroom is not created. They will create once batch is fixed. So they create the Google Classroom, and you will be added. Those who completed the registrations, they will be added to the Google Classroom. So there I will add the notes. You can download it from there. Batch timing remains same. Batch timing every day 6 to 7:30. Google Classroom link is not created, boss. What you are listening? They will create. After creating, I can share. I don't need to share. You will be added automatically. Once you completed the registration, you will be added to that Google Classroom. Last 10 minutes I'll spend for your doubts every day. Okay, na? Any some related questions, class related questions you can ask. You can't talk here. Here you have to use chat box only. For SQL Server, Power BI is good combination. Power BI is different, SQL Server is different. So for links, demo links, then you have to contact Naresh IT. Sir, groups are created only after registration is completed. Otherwise, they won't create any groups. Okay, na? Then. attend this demo classes. Okay, na? Like after that you can decide. Okay, then. And see, number of students asking the demo links. Tomorrow I'll ask them to add it to the chat box. Okay, na? Demo class 1, demo class 2. Okay, then. So I'll ask them to add it to the chat box, so you can download. You can go through that. Tomorrow I'll ask them to add it. Okay, then whatever the class till now I have taken, okay guys, bye, see you tomorrow.